Gemini, your week commencing the 9th of June forecast suggests the moon is going to be a very influential player in this week's developments for you. It starts the week in a very practical part of your situation, but facing off with the restless energies of Uranus, which have been very turbulent, I feel, at times since March 2019, and they're both afflicted by Mars. Mars is in a part of your situation as you start this week, which is about your desire to express your ideas with conviction, assertion, but perhaps with a degree of impatience. You could feel somewhat on edge. Then at the heart of the week, the full moon is in your opposite sign. Someone may in some ways push back about something that you're very invested in, that means a lot to you, and it could happen over the next 2 weeks. If it's in an emotional or romantic relationship, the fact that Venus is now cocooned deep in a very private part of your chart, but squaring off with Pluto at the start of the week, that could also see something come into the open that you may find somewhat tender, even painful. And yet, of course, all the big attention will go on Jupiter arriving in your sector of everyday finance. And Jupiter could bring you good fortune over the next year. It could also see you finding it hard to marshal your diet, because Jupiter in the second house can give you perhaps a propensity to enjoy the good things in life to a large degree. But seriously, Jupiter, of course, is also squared off by Saturn, but does forge a great combination with your ruler Mercury on Monday. So if you really have been applying yourself over the last year, I think the story of this week is someone may feel a bit left out, a bit judgmental about it, but you could start to reap the rewards. But the cost may be that around certain alliances or friendships, things are somewhat strained. If you're someone who wants to start a new business or a side hustle, just be aware that as much as Jupiter can bring you that fortune over the next 12 months, because it squares off with Saturn and Neptune, you need to be really clear about who you're pitching your idea, your service, or your product towards. If you have that clarity, you could be very successful. So this week is going to see quite a few contrasting themes, but I feel that the square between Uranus and Mars is particularly abrasive, because Mars is seeing you wanting to be quite competitive around your ideas, and because the full moon is in Sagittarius, that can be very much a battle of ideas. But if you do find yourself having a heated discussion, you need to decide if it's worth it, because you could be deflecting from something that's more important for you. And that really draws my attention in your chart to the role of Pluto. Pluto's pushing you towards some kind of new, developing an exciting opportunity that involves knowledge, change, perhaps even travel, maybe even publishing. And it's your links to others that are solid that can be critical in this. But if you're trying to connect to people who will never get it, this week could be somewhat frustrating for you. And it all builds up to a very tense summit as the week draws to a close, with two synodic clashes, Mars square Uranus and Saturn in that square with Jupiter. An aspect that only gets repeated once every 10 years for about 10 months. This is the fourth one, but in two different signs. So that's the story of this week, really, Gemini. There could be some good news financially, but it's important to understand where your own restlessness or frustration or irritability could come out, and also be aware there may be some discussions or debates that it's better to steer clear of if you really want to keep your mind focused on the golden prize. Thank you so much for joining me. My new website at patrickarundell.com is really beginning to take shape. Please join me there. You can get your free daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, general, love and Vedic horoscopes, and also enjoy my stunning three-card tarot. And with year 2025 absolutely whizzing by, you can take advantage of my very unique offer. You can order your personal transits forecast for 2026 now, and I'll give you the rest of this year free. I'll also give you 30% off, but you'll critically get your life roadmap report. This helps us to understand the patterns that are played out in our lives so far. You'll gain searing insights, but also an intimate understanding of how to work with those energies more successfully future forwards, and with the forecast, time your moves impeccably. Please see the link below for more.